Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the new Masters of the Universe Origins Buzzsaw Hordak. Hordak is the newest deluxe figure, and he's included in the 5th wave of toys. And he's a somewhat faithful recreation of the original Buzzsaw Hordak toy, which sadly is very, very similar in appearance to just the standard Hordak figure. Right, he's given a new torso, which implements his gimmick, but the torso is designed to look like his standard torso, so from a distance, you kind of can't even tell it's a different toy, which is kind of annoying. So, if you've seen my reviews before, you know this goes. We're going to take a look at Buzzsaw Hordak's packaging, then we'll open it up, we'll see the comic that's inside, which may or may not be something new, I can't really tell from here. And then we'll see Hordak himself, check out his articulation, his accessories, his action features. Naturally, I'll be doing some group shots and comparisons today, especially with the standard Hordak. And then, at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So our new Hordak comes in the larger deluxe size packaging, which is expanded to the right or left, depending on your perspective, to add like new extra accessories here. In this case, he comes with an extra closed hand, an extra face, which gives him more of a sinister smile. Comes with the same crossbow that the standard Hordak comes with. And then he gets 2 different buzzsaws, one that actually looks like an actual saw blade, and then one that's, I don't know, more of a ninja star looking thing. Kind of just got star points going on. Not sure what's up with that. It's interesting. So his title here is Ruthless Leader with Blaster Blade. So they kind of just modified, his standard one to talk about his action gimmick there. And here we check out the artwork for him. And you can see him, he's launching his buzzsaws out of his chest. He's actually launching both different kinds too. At He-Man, and what's really cool is you can see the Mantisaur in the background, which is a mount that Hordak is meant to be paired with, and they had a Mantisaur toy in the original toy line, and I've kind of been hoping they release one for Origins. I'd love for Hordak to get his mount too, because we already got one for He-Man, we got one for Skeletor, right, the big players. I hope it's coming down the pike. I haven't seen anything about it yet, but it would be a shame if we didn't get Mantisaur, because he's just got a really cool design. Up in the corner, we get our flavor text for this, and it just says, Hordak's Buzzsaw Blast catches his enemies off guard. Not the most interesting flavor text, but I don't know, better than nothing. On the left, we get our action feature callouts, so click Buzzsaw into place, push down on lever in back, and launch Buzzsaw at enemies. So I guess he's got a lever in his back, which kind of makes sense, right? It's got to go somewhere. Here we get our cross cells, and him being a deluxe figure, it's more than just the usual boring stuff. So you get the Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor figures, along with the new Wind Raider that just came out, as well as Castle Grayskull. So overall, the packaging's neat. I think the artwork is a lot better than the flavor text. It's like they weren't even trying with that one. Basically just like, he does the thing. I'm like, okay, we already know he does the thing. It's in his name, Buzzsaw. But oh well. All right, let's go ahead and open it up now and take a look at everything. Here's our mini comic that comes with our Buzzsaw Hordak, and it's called Horde Plague. And you can see, Mosquito on the cover. Got our 3 main heroes entering this cave. All right, so the gist of this is that there's some weird, blood plague infecting these local citizens, where they're all just feeling kind of drained. And then the heroes go to investigate, and they see Mosquito in this cave. And when they look in, they see that he's attempting to power up Hordak with this energy that he's been stealing from people. So they go to confront him. Hordak seems to wake up, and then Mosquito sneak attacks Man-at-Arms, drains him of his energy. Hordak busts out. Then he tries fighting the good guys. They're all, having a go at him. Shows off his new Buzzsaw ability that he has for this deluxe figure. And, he captures 3 of our heroes. He-Man's ready to fight him. Deflects his moves, they kind of have a go at it. And then He-Man tricks Mosquito into draining Hordak, knocks Mosquito out, and releases all the energy that he stole, thus saving the town and Man-at-Arms. So, pretty cool comic. One of the better ones, I think. And then, as always, on the back here, we can see our cross cells for some of the other deluxes, Grayskull, and the Wind Raider. Now we get our toy out of the packaging, and you can see all of his accessories laid out. So he's got the same wonky crossbow that the regular Hordak comes with. He has an alternate head, which has a bit of a sinister smile, and it's the same one that came with the PowerCon Hordak. He has an alternate closed hand for his left arm, and then he has two different buzzsaws here. So they both have the Horde symbol right here in the middle, and then one is actually shaped like a buzzsaw, and the other one's shaped like, I don't know, some sort of a starburst pattern. Not sure why, but that's what they decided to give him. Now, at first glance, this toy looks an awful lot like the standard Hordak figure, which I don't know if that was the best design philosophy of the time, because, you get something like Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor, who do look significantly different from their standard releases. And you get this guy, who seems to take an opposite approach of just making him look as much like the regular figure as possible. But when you start to look closely, you can see the difference. His cape is now attached via this little lever-like device, and then his chest has this opening panel on it. So you swing it open, and that's where the buzzsaws go. The cape acting like a lever to fire them off. You'll also notice he lacks the little gargoyle companion that the regular Hordak and the PowerCon one come with. So we can take either one of these little buzzsaws, you push them in till they lock into place, and then try to do this without shooting it off into the unknown. Then you push down this little lever or cape, and boom, fires it out. So pretty cool. The gimmick works very well, which is awesome. Sometimes, with these little launching gimmicks, the mileage may vary on them, but his seems to work just fine, and he can launch either type of buzzsaw from his chest. And unfortunately, there's nowhere to store the extra one. I guess you just gotta keep it safe somewhere. Looking at the toy's tolerances, the head feels a little bit loose, but not too bad. It's not floppy or anything. The shoulders work very well, the elbows, all that, the wrists. The waist is slightly loose, but not too bad. The hips are good. The knees are a little bit weak. Not to the point of some of my other figures, like my Ninjor, but just a little weak in the knees there. Could also be because of the weight of the cape and everything he's got to support. Might just be kind of wearing him down over time. So, get that, and then we get our alternate head. So we can check that out. Pop off the regular one. Put the smiling, sinister face on. And we get this. It's pretty wicked looking. I actually like it. Now, I typically keep, my Origins figures in their vintage configuration, but I gotta say, this one's tempting. It looks really good. And like I said, it's the same one that came on the PowerCon toy, but I think with the classic toy stylings and the black going around under the eyes, I think this one looks especially creepy. I really like it. Now here's a comparison with the other two Hordak figures. So on the right, you have your standard Wave 4 Hordak toy. And then on the left, we have our PowerCon exclusive TV show-based Hordak toy. So you can see the differences between these two are quite subtle. Most of the toy is the same when it comes down to the limbs, the crossbow, all that stuff. The head sculpt is the same, but you can actually see there's a difference in paint here. The old toy just had this flat black paint around the cheekbones and all that. This guy gets more of a dark gray in that same area, but it also extends further back into the ears, like so, and then he also gets these black circles under his eyes. Personally, I think this looks a little bit better. Helps make his eyes look a little bigger and a little more evil looking. His are kind of on the beady side. And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but this seems to blend the cartoon aesthetic with the toy aesthetic, where, we can see the TV show-based Hordak also has the circles under his eyes. So I don't know if that's an intentional mixing of concepts or what, but I do think it comes out looking just a little bit better. As far as the chest area, they look more or less the same from the front. I believe the Horde symbol on him is a little bit smaller. I could be wrong. And then, of course, he's got the big old lever cape sticking off the back. That's probably the quickest giveaway of, which one's which. So, yeah, it is interesting how well they kind of emulated the basic design into this new, projectile launching chest version. I think that's pretty cool. It is odd that he's missing his little bat or gargoyle companion. I guess he was just cut for budget reasons, because even the TV show-based one has the little gargoyle guy, though I don't recall him ever having that in the show. I could be wrong. And then, of course, the difference between these two is, you know, just absolutely striking. The colors are completely different. He's got the whole, you know, cannon hand thing going on. So while these two are easily unique enough to not feel very samey on your shelf, these guys right here, they're so similar that I wouldn't fault somebody for only wanting one or the other, because they are so close to being the same toy. And I don't know why they did that. They should have given him like some very unique chest plate or something, a la, you know, our battle armor figures. But they didn't want to do that for whatever reason. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel that unless you're a hardcore completionist, you really don't need both of these. I would just decide on, you know, what's more important to you, having like the little bat accessory or having the launching buzzsaws. And this completes our look at Buzzsaw Hordak. I think out of all the deluxe figures that have been released, this is probably the least important to pick up. And I hate to sound negative or anything, but he already has a standard version that looks more or less like this toy. So unless having the whole buzzsaw launching gimmick's really important to you, he's not going to feel too amazing on your shelf, right? Like, he's just another Hordak that looks like the Wave 4 figure. So unlike, you know, your Battle Armor He-Mans or, you know, your Clamp Champ, who is, you know, unique solely to the deluxe price point, this guy could be an easy pass if you already have the standard version. Now, if you don't have the standard version, I would recommend this one just because he is a little more fun to play with. Like, you don't get his little bat accessory, but that thing's, you know, kind of a pain to deal with anyway. The way you gotta like strap it on his arm. And honestly, I think this is, by, you know, a small margin, the better of the two. I do especially like the changes they made to his paint apps on his face here. I think they just make it pop that much more. I like how he's got a little bit of color gradient, you know, where you get some black on the collar, but then some dark gray to where his cheeks aren't just blending in with the collar. And then the black under the eyes really helps make him look cool. So if you do not have the Wave 4 Hordak, which at this point, you know, if you don't have it, he's probably very hard to get a hold of. I had to import mine from Europe, you know, just to get him. This is probably an easier pickup because he, despite being a Wave 5 figure, has been available very recently at stores. I know he pops up a lot like Meyer and stuff if you have those in your area. So I would definitely pick him up if you don't have a Hordak of your own. I think he serves just as well as a standard version, and again, he's a little more fun to play with because you get to shoot buzzsaws at people. Of course, that is just my take on this toy, so now I want to know what you all think. Do you think that this is the better Hordak of the two? And do you prefer him? Like, would you rather have him than the regular one? Or if you have the regular one, would you be willing to pick this one up too? Or do you not think so? Do you prefer just your standard issue Hordak? Do you find this guy just too redundant to, you know, get a hold of? Any and all feedback's always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at MOTU Origins Deluxe Figure Buzzsaw Hordak. With all that said, I will see you next time.